You know, I swear to God, if I just want to play Wickham at like what he does during the damn uh, the lead
I don't
in. I
even
mean,
want to know.
The thing is, you made a mistake.
It's like McTaggart dancing. Because here's the thing: you can't see each other, but I can see all of you. Unfortunately, I have a stupid thing with all of little screens on the bottom of it. So I see McTaggart dance, which is no big deal. Then there's Wickman, who's got the damn dude on a pencil stick thing. Yeah, I don't know. Weirdo.
I'm going to have to come up with something then.
Oh, Jesus Christ, save me.
You brought that on yourself.
Why do I do this? Why? Why?
I can't believe it's been 2 weeks already since our last show.
2 weeks, like 2 months.
Whatever.
Well, that is a Chad 2-week deal.
I was gonna say, shut up.
Kind of like that movie Money Pit. 2
hey,
weeks?
Hey. Happy New Year. It's
Happy New Year.
2025.
We made it through another one and starting anew.
I'm already tired.
Hell, I was in bed at 10 o'clock.
I need a nap already. I know. Look at McTaggart's like, I'm pretending to be happy right now. It's fine.
Everything's okay.
Putting a Ford small block back in where another Ford small block just came out of, which would seem to be a really simple thing. And it would tell you that, I mean, come on, how hard could this be? It's fine. Except when it's not fine. Right, McTaggart?
It's the same year motor, but wrong month.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Ford crappiness. Yes.
So, do we want to dive into
we'll
this
talk about specifics later. We'll talk about specifics later. I don't want to.
The more he knows Fords, the more he likes Mopars.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. Oh my God. All right. So we are going to StreamYard changed some stuff, and it's pissing me off because my logo's not laying out right.
Old man yells at cloud.
It's fine. It's fine. I don't care. So what's the word? Well, we're going to talk about what's the word on 2025. What we think are going to be the trends. What's going to be the things. I've got a couple of things on my list we're going to talk about. But first, I want to thank everybody for joining us in the chat. Martin and Doug and Bill in the house. Barnalicious, of course. There is a lot to talk about, but I'm sure we're only going to get to a fraction of it today. So,
yeah, because we'll go off on a tangent.
Of course, yes, duh.
Because it's been 2 months.
I know. I really think maybe we should just call this Tangents Live with 4 idiots.
Or a squirrel disco ball.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus. So before we get into 2025 stuff, 2024. Good, bad, otherwise. Just Crosby, good, bad, or otherwise?
I think everything was pretty good. I mean, some family issues for me, obviously, but other than that, I mean, busy, got caught up on some things, divorced some customers I didn't want to deal with anymore.
That's always good.
Gained a few other customers, ran into some people I haven't seen for a long time. I mean,
developed some new products and stuff. So yeah,
working on some new stuff.
Yeah.
And
all right, so we'll
plan.
touch base on that more for our 2025 discussion. Okay, McTaggart, 2024, good, bad, otherwise.
50 of one, half of the other. The first half was decent. We got the Charger swapped to a 5-speed. We got it together. We had it on the ground. We had it running, driving, and the results, for the most part, were positive. Pulling high 20s on the interstate, cruised beautifully, ran well until it didn't.
Yep.
Second stop, a power tour, the 360 decided it had more than enough of my shit. Packed up. The car runs, but it shakes like a chihuahua that needs to crap every time it does. I even fired it up about a week ago just to see if it would. It fired up like nothing was wrong. Didn't even take that long to crank after sitting for a couple months. But
yeah,
it's just fuel and oil and bad. So we bought a cop car Charger 2009 for pennies on the dollar. That thing was a screamer with a ton of rot in it. So the engine has been extracted. Everything else has been turned.
Yeah, we'll get. Don't get into too much detail. We'll talk about more of that later. Yeah.
No, but that's where we're at.
Yeah.
And then because that wasn't enough fun, I decided to go ahead and drag the Great Pumpkin Mustang, my wife's 1980, back out of hibernation where it's been for the last 3 years, and decided it was time for that thing to come back to the road. We'll touch base on that
Perfect. So easy.
No, perfection is what I just sent a message on about 10 minutes ago, Chad.
Do what?
There you go.
We'll talk about that later, too.
Did you see that? Did you just see that, what Wickman had?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, huh?
Mm-hmm. That's one.
Wickman, how about you? Good, bad, otherwise? 2024?
2024 started out pretty damn awesome. I finally got to go to the Roadster show, which was
the Grand National Roadster show is the one you're speaking of.
I kind of knew what I was going into it. I mean, I've been to more car shows and indoor car shows than I care to count, but for some reason, it was insane seeing. I wouldn't say the amount of quality builds, but the amount of just people in general that from SoCal and coming in from around the country just for this show. It was just crazy. Like, I mean, every time you turn your head, there's like someone that had their hand in something, that some huge high quality build that is just kind of like, you almost seem like those kind of people are out of reach. But what the hell is this?
I'm just messing around with stuff.
After Christmas.
You'll be fine.
But that's something else I didn't talk about. The new shows. I went to McCacken for the first time ever, and it's a little bit, level, you know what you're getting, but the quality that was there was gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
I've got a couple of shows that I want to try to go to. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go back to the Roser show next month or at the end
I
of this
thought
month.
you were coming.
I have a truck I have to pay for. I mean, that's what it basically comes down to.
No,
Yeah.
life gets in the way.
I had a nice little chat with Matt Frost a couple weeks ago, and half of us are going to be at Mega Week. I don't know about the other half over there, but I will be working Mega Week, doing basically Aaron Bitch Boy stuff for the entire week. But I meant,
So normal.
I'll
Yeah.
be helping out, doing whatever I can, whether it's with Chad or Neil or Matt, or I may be putting on decals. I may be helping
Neil
stage
is not
car.
allowed to order anybody around. We don't give him that kind of power. It would be bad. It would be bad. I'm just telling you.
I may
Let
be
it go to
handling.
his head, and we're all in trouble.
I may be handling all the wieners that'll get fed to everybody.
Nice. There we have this big box that heats up all the wieners. So
What was that guy they were calling in History of the World Part 1 all the time? Oh, yeah, Piss Boy.
Yes. Piss Boy. That's right.
I got my
Piss Boy.
I got my OBS to Colorado. It is getting work done. There'll be share a picture of that later on. I've got my 85 C10 that is getting rolling with that. I may have found an engine for that, even though it's in Indiana. I'm trying to talk the guy to come down to Texas to February to bring it with him, so I can get it dumped at my
You
my
can't
daughter.
find a small block in Colorado, or
LS. It's just weird how LS engines work. I mean, some parts of the country you can get them for pennies, and other places they want hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars for them. Even though it's 4853 Gen 3.
Yeah, but sometimes you spend more on the transportation than you actually spend on the motor, and you don't know what you're actually getting.
There's some truth to that.
Just saying.
Yeah, there's some truth.
Not that anybody would fib on the internet or anything. We never have.
Right.
McTaggart about puked.
Fond memories of Big Block Chrysler from a few years ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Well, we'll get into more of those things here shortly. So, there have been, so for my side, 2024 kind of sucked early on. I was sort of the opposite of McTaggart. But I am, and then it was just sort of cruise mode for much of the year until November 1st. And for the month before that, but really officially November 1st. So for those that are watching that do not know yet, I bought out my partners on BANGshift officially November 1st of last year. It's weird to say last year because last year was just yesterday. But on November 1st, I became the sole owner of BANGshift Media LLC. So we have a bunch of cool stuff that is going to be coming in 2025. So we'll cover some more of that later. But I just wanted to say a big thank you to all of the contributors. These three idiots, Ryan Wing, who helps me out on Triple B, as well as Aaron Spitzer, and all of the contributors and fans and everybody that has supported the website. It's been awesome. And I was really, really stoked to be able to buy out Brian and Wes. They're great dudes, love them to death. They've both been a part of this thing for 16 years, but it was time. And so, Wes was retiring and Brian's busy with everything else. And I have plans and things that I wanted to do. And in order to make that happen, I needed to be the guy. So that's where we're at. So it's pretty cool. There are going to be some things that are coming down the pike in 2025. We'll talk about a little bit of that later, but it's definitely things are looking up. it's, we got a lot to do, but still looking pretty cool. So right now I'm happy, and later I could be unhappy, but for right now it's good to go.
That's
Well,
awesome.
good
Yay!
deal.
You love it.
I feel like the dog when you get home and he's all excited, you're like, hey. Oh God. So yeah, it's a pretty good deal. So I really do appreciate it. Guy in the house, Jeff Lee in the house. Actually speaking of Jeff Lee, if you don't follow ET Enterprises on YouTube, you should. Jeff Lee is an awesome dude, been a friend of mine for a long, long time. And Jeff's dad, Skip, was just one of the coolest dudes, and he owned a speed shop that was out of their house, out of the barn behind their house. And he built a bunch of stock eliminator and super stock engines. Big blocks were sort of his specialty back in the day, but just cool family history, cool, heritage, I guess I'd say, with some of their cars. Jeff was recently able to trade one of his cars for his dad's old Monte Carlo race car, which is cool. Big block, I believe 71 Monte Carlo. And I think it ran C stock automatic and stuff. Just an awesome car. And, there's a special place in my heart for those Monte Carlos because I grew up in one. But they're super, super cool. And it's awesome what Jeff's doing. Him and his dad started Hammerhead, which is a company that builds bulletproof center sections for independent rear suspensions, Corvettes, late model Camaros, late model Mopars like Hellcat stuff, and all that. Also early model Corvettes. So the factory appearing stock tire guys that are literally running low eights on a factory F series bias ply tire. They're running these things. It's insane. So yeah, it's a really, really cool setup. So again, follow ET Enterprises on YouTube and you'll see more stuff. Rodney Mason says, I thought you were going to tell us you were pregnant. I look like it, but no, I am not. I got my tubes tied, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. It's fine. And I was right. 71 Monte Carlo B and C stock automatic. So stock eliminator, the original small tire drag racing. So very cool setup. You can see some really cool content over there on his channel. That's like all him touring the barn as they're selling stuff. And if you're looking for old speed parts or old engine parts in order to do a restoration or what have you, hit up Jeff because he has a ton of stuff. He's always sharing everything. Me and McTaggart are in a chat group with him, and the stuff that he finds is absolutely insane because he's been going through the barn and like everything he thought he knew that was there is like a fraction of what his dad actually had. I mean, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So yeah, it's a pretty cool deal for sure. So so check it out on YouTube. Okay. So I wanted to get into trends for 2025. I want to see if we can make some predictions here. Okay. So in 2024, I guess I should write these down too, because at some point we're going to be able to go, yeah, we were right, or shit, we were wrong. So no prep drag racing. Still big like 2024 or no? Go Wickman.
It's kind of hard to say because I mean with the whole what happened with Warner Brothers and Roadkill and all that, I know Street Outlaws, all that stuff got canceled. So I mean that's doesn't look like there'll be an NPK going forward. So I mean it's kind of like if it's not out in front of the public eye, I mean people are just going to forget about it. I mean I know 8th Mile Racing is still and forever will be huge on the East Coast, Southeast, the Carolinas, Georgia, all that. But it's I'm gonna say probably is gonna slowly like tend to fade off. I know I was at Joe Barry's place last weekend, and he's I guess I can't. I'm not gonna talk about what he's got going on until he actually makes it public. But the whole the event that happened, where was it? Nebraska or Iowa with the period uh, 90s Pro Street type cars,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
original drag and
Havlik,
drive cars.
yeah, Havlicks,
Yeah,
yeah.
um, that event coming up. There's from what talking to Matt and Joe, that is they're they're doing their cars just for that event.
Oh yeah,
So that's
absolutely.
uh,
No, the
mm,
Havlicks deal is going to be big. McTaggart, what do you think about no prep drag racing? Is it dying or is it still hot and heavy for 2025?
I think it's dying. Outside of a
Yeah,
couple certain events that have had deep roots, or maybe the only place I can think of offhand where I know I'd see it would be LS Texas, if they're still going to do that.
yeah,
The combination of lack of eyes now that the TV show deals are done, and the fact that so many cars got messed up and that kind of pattern, it's a lot of money to invest in a car that you pretty much have to be okay with wadding up.
yeah.
And I see a lot of people pulling back on that right now. I think they'd rather play it safer, stay with something like a good eighth mile or a good heads up or a bracket or something. But I think no preps. It isn't completely done, but it's definitely on the way down.
Crosby, what do you think?
I think it's going to transform into just more of the YouTube content, and I think a lot of
Gotcha.
it's going to get picked up there. It's that's opening the door for a lot of these people who already have a YouTube channel and stuff like that to carry it on a little bit further.
Yep.
So a lot of people that were involved in those shows, I mean, the door is open. The that that door that was closed before is now open to people to come up with a whole new venue, and the personalities that are already known, like Mike Cotton just popped in there a second ago. Um, People like him to be involved in different things. So
Right.
I wouldn't sell it too short. I don't think it's going to be the same, but I think it's going to still be there.
I think it's going to be a fight
Yeah,
to try and
I
promote it,
think
though.
that
What's that,
I
McTaggart?
I think it's going to be a fight to try and promote it. It's if you're established in the space and you've got a way to you got a place to run it and a way to promote it. If you're established, you're okay. But that's who's taking that role on? Who's going to
Yeah,
be?
but there's a lot of those people that have the marketing behind them, and that those numbers got to go somewhere.
well, here's my deal. Um, I think that you're all right, except I think that you're throwing people into the mix that don't fit in the mix. And here's why I say that. Um, I look at the no prep drag racing world as being a couple of different groups, right? So I realize that No Prep Kings is one of those that is arguably the more famous, group
Hmm.
in the No Prep drag racing world, and No Prep Kings is going away. I do know that they're going back to the street and they're going to do a deal there, from what I'm told anyway. Um, but here's the thing: the rest of the no prep drag racing world um, is is huge and has been for years. And the reality is there are, I mean, hundreds of famous, okay, using air quotes, famous no prep drag racers and famous no prep racing cars all over the country that have nothing to do with no prep kings.
Yeah.
But again, they're not at that level that no prep kings is, right? No prep kings made a bunch of these guys millionaires. So I get that. But I believe that the rest of it will continue to to
Yeah,
go
yeah, but I
good.
think we get a little more reality involved in it too, because we also know there was some things going on behind the scenes with that were kind of played around with the actual reality of the racing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the rest of the no prep world, see, all the racetracks love that. The no prep world is great because when glue costs $1,400 a barrel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Racetracks really like not having to spray a bunch of glue. The racetracks also, no prep does not mean no traction. It depends on where they are and what they do. If no prep is we're not going to touch the racetrack on Friday when the racing starts, then that's very different than we're going to scrape the racetrack to bare concrete on Thursday, right? And the reason I
Right.
say that is because your average racetrack, if all they did was run a broom down it and drag it to make sure it's clean, these big heavy hitter cars, once they do 3 or 4 or 5 or 8 pairs go down the racetrack's great. Like it's good. It doesn't matter.
It also
There
depends
is
on the
no
event that's
shortage
being
of
held.
traction. Do what?
But it also depends on the event that's being held. The different promoters, because I've been to events where, yeah, they scrape the track like Friday morning, and then they'll race all day on it. Then come out Saturday morning, and they'll scrape the track again. But
Right.
then other events where, like you said, they'll scrape it Friday morning, and that's it.
Yep.
And the
Exactly.
run till early Sunday morning on that same track.
Yeah, and so it totally depends. And the reality too is I think that it's going to change some, right? I believe that the no time, no prep, I believe there will be less of those events. I believe that time events where the scoreboards are lighting up, because make no mistake, with rare exception, there are no time events in the country. Okay. They can call them that. But what that means is that if me and Wickman raced each other on the racetrack, we only get our half of the time slip. Okay. So we're still getting a time. The
Yeah.
scoreboards are just not on, right? So
The only
Wickman
other
still knows that he ran a 438. I still know that I handed him his ass with a 418, whatever, right?
and the
So
only other
um,
person, a true no time is effectively a street race on any other surface.
correct. And
Anything
that
else,
just doesn't exist. That
yeah,
I shouldn't say it doesn't. It's rare. The majority are just the scoreboards are off and the time slips.
the
Like
crowds
what
don't
we
do
do
this.
at the races when again, normal people don't know these things because you're not there. But if you're in the tower during a drag race that has no prep or no time classes and regular, we literally the code for that is arts and crafts. So you call on the radio to the girl or the guy that's running the time shack who's handing out time slips, and you say, the next pair that comes to you is arts and crafts. This is, meaning it's a no time. So at that point they have to cut the time slips in half and hand the time slip to you and the time slip to me that's appropriate for us. And that's it. Well, I think that some of that is going to go away. I think that there are a lot of guys that used to run with no time who now are like, we don't care, right? Everybody's faster than shit. Um, and and the biggest thing is, in my opinion, and I've been very vocal about this before, and I'll say it again, and I don't give a shit who no prep racer was on the show. I would tell it to them probably as well. Um, the 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 vast majority of no time racers are not street racers at all. And the vast majority of street racers that are out there are not street racers in the truest sense of the word. And I'm going to sound like an old man, but if you gap the shit out of somebody, you are no street racer. You are not actually trying to make real money, right? Because if you're really racing and you're really racing to make money, you're beating a guy by a fender every single time,
Yep.
right? Because you are going to 100% sandbag and only beat him by a little tiny bit so that you can get another bet with them
Yeah,
later
your
on in the
head's going like this at the end.
yeah. I
Yeah, it's
mean, come
poker.
on.
And
Yeah,
that's another thing
it
too.
is. It is poker game.
If these guys are being handed time slips, they're knowing what their 60 foot is, what their 330 is, and it's like
Correct.
they can just do their tune according with that. And again, it's just like, I mean, it's not, again, that's not real street racing.
So Brett is saying, Chad, so you're saying things like Carolina no time isn't true no time. I don't know I won't speak particular series, so I won't speak to the Carolina no time. Like maybe they are, but let me put it to you this way. They race at events that have the times going on the scoreboards. And I know that then they turn off the scoreboards. They may turn off the entire timing system. I don't know. But if you're allowing the timing system to stage the car and show a win light, it's unlikely that they are turning off all of the other systems to give no times whatsoever. Now, in those scenarios, like if I was announcing one of those events, there should not be any display of times on the announcer screen or the scoreboard, period. Like nobody should know what the time is. I never know when we do Streetcar Super Nationals and we have all those no time classes. I have no idea. I don't know reaction time. I don't know 60 foots, 330s, nothing. Literally, the screen is blank in front of me. And so I know a guy's name. That's all I have. So if, again, there are, I'm sure, some series that are truly no time, but the reality is that in most cases, that no time is referring to no time that the public can see, but the racer gets to see his time. He doesn't get to see his competition's time. He just gets to see his. However, if you have video of you running and you know that you just ran 438 and you know that you did a 30 light and now you watch the video and you know that that guy left one frame ahead of you, well video is shot in 30 or 60 frames typically if it's not slow-mo. Depending on the frame rate, you can do the math. You know that, oh, I beat this guy by a fender and I was going this fast, which means I'm covering this distance. It's just math, right? It's not rocket science. And so
they
you
have the
can
GPS
absolutely get real close to what your competitor is running. Also, at a no time event, if it was a truly no time event, everybody worth their salt's got a draggy in their car. And if you have a draggy, then you got it accurate. Because I am telling you that with rare exception, a draggy is very, very accurate. And if you want your own draggy, you can get one with the 1320 video logo on it by buying it at 1320video.com. That'll be the last time I tell you to buy one from them because soon you'll be able to buy them from us here at BANGshift.com. So that's a thing. That's a hint on the 2025 world. So, yeah.
I thought we weren't talking about new things.
Not yet. I just was teasing.
Greedy bastard.
Okay, so let's see. Yes, Ron Ward says strategy has been trumped by ego. That is 100% true. Brett is asking, are there rules in place to where no draggy to help the driver get some type of numbers? No. You can put a draggy in your car because the draggy really is just talking to your phone. You just have your phone in your pocket. So
you can put the draggy in your pocket of your race suit.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all fine. But no, everybody's running a draggy. Everybody's got a data log. I mean, I can tell you, like, if I look at a data log on the Holly, I can tell you what the ET is, depending on when I chop the throttle at the finish line, right? Like, so if you're really accurate chopping the stripe at the finish line, then when you let go of the button or wooded the thing to leave, let off the brake pedal, whatever, if it's a foot brake or a trans brake car. So, I mean, you're not going to be able to go, oh, that was a 973 with a 5, but you can go, oh, it was 970 to 980 or whatever, right? You'll know that. So, yeah. Good questions, though, Brett. Good questions. All right. Non-racing related now. Truck related. What are the trucks or will there be a truck that comes out of the woodwork in 2025? And if so, what will that body style be that'll be the thing all of a sudden everybody has to have? Like in the last few years, OBS trucks have been the jam. Obviously, all other C10s that came before it are always popular. It's like, but now OBS has been added to the list. Um, what's next? Anybody?
I think it's just going to be a sliding scale at this point because effectively there isn't such a thing as a bad truck. There hasn't been. There are problems with each, fair enough, but there isn't a bad truck. So my money, I'm going with the BR Ram 94 to 02 because they're in the age right now where restoring one would be an option and you can Gen 3 them.
What year?
94 to 02.
Is that an OBS Dodge that Cotton's talking about?
I guess. I thought
Dodge
really doesn't play the same rules as Ford and Chevy. Dodge did one body from 72 to 93 and just changed grills and taillights.
Right, exactly. Yes.
So yeah.
Well, okay. But think about it though. Okay, Chevrolet was only barely less time than that. I mean, they went all the way to 1980. Well, they went all the way to 87
because
in
Ford did the same thing.
But they went in crew cabs and Suburbans all the way to 92, so it was the same number of years.
Right, and Ford did a truck. When the new body started, 1980, and they ran it out until 97 in the big boys.
Yeah.
So they all did it, and it's basically the same exact story. We built a truck we don't want to change, period.
Yep.
So you look at, I think the Dodge is up next, honestly, because they got problems. Yes, their dashes are made of, soda crackers, but that outside design, the look of that truck is one of the more handsome designs that are out there. All the body stuff is out there. Have fun with it at this point. I'm not one for slamming them. I'm not a mini trucker. I'm not a sport trucker. But a Dodge of that era as a good four-wheel drive that's kept in reality, I'd own one of those in a heartbeat. Yeah. Plus, you have the Viper truck look. They did that concept truck, I want to say in 96.
Right.
So you could do Gen 3, you could do V10, whatever you want. That's my look.
You could LS swap one.
Well, no, that's the next bot. But somebody did that. There's one that shows up in Bowling Green every year.
Oh yeah. Yep. No, but the Gen 3 Hemi is the smart way to go for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wickman, what do you think? What's the truck that all of a sudden is going to start getting popular in 2025?
I've always been, I think, I wouldn't say ahead of the curve. There are trucks that I'm looking at right now that I think that with what's out there available on platforms you can put them on, are the larger 2.5 ton and up cabs, the farm truck, the grain trucks. There are 3 different YouTubers I am watching right now that have all taken a C50 or C60 and put them on 3 different platforms. One of them,
late model chassis, etc. Yep.
One of them being like the 2000 and up 3/4 ton van chassis. I don't know. Another one being the 9905 Silverado.
Yep.
And the third one being a 1990, I want to say 92 Toyota 1-ton dually.
Oh wow!
What?
That's funny.
Okay. Link on that. But all 3 of them, I just like, and following like the Chad at Nobody Salvage in Kansas.
Yep.
He's
got them stacked up like cordwood.
Yeah. He's got a yard full of them.
I mean, literally hundreds of old grain trucks there. I mean, it's insane.
Like the guy was saying that he's doing the one on the Silverado chassis, that he's like, I was looking for a truck and them costing $3,500 and up just for a shell with a title. He's like, I went out and bought this grain truck for $1,500 and I drove it home. I mean,
yep.
So it's like, the more I'm watching these, like, I would love to do one of those. I am currently like on the lookout for a long wheelbase 3/4 ton frame, just to
because like
stash someplace?
Taggart and I both know that there's no way Wickman can do a short bed ever again in his entire life.
Nope.
No.
But
And
think about it. If you're going to have a long bed, and I've thought about this too, honestly, I just wouldn't have put it as a trend. There's a bunch of mid-70s Dodge farm trucks near me, like the big 500, 600, 700 series with the big face. It's the same. It's just like a top kit.
oh yeah,
Different
yes,
nose, same interior, same body. One of
absolutely.
those on a 2-wheel drive, 3/4 ton Cummins chassis would be the work truck.
Yeah.
It would
And
work.
I'm
It'd
all
be
about
cool.
that 18 midlife. So
So is Crosby now. Crosby's a long bedsman now.
Yep.
what?
He owns a long bed.
Down a long bed.
Extended cab long bed.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And it is going to stay bone freaking stock.
Is there enough room in the front of your shop to park one of those?
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep. And
Okay.
it's McGregor's dad's old truck.
Yes, it's awesome.
So you know the history then.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
oh,
It has like
oh.
4 miles on it. It doesn't
Yeah, it's got
know the history.
it's,
It literally
it's almost
is like,
worn out. It's got 43,000 miles on
The thing is,
and
I
it's
know.
what?
it. 05.
See, it's 20 years old and it has 40,000 miles.
Wow.
Oh, and by the way, hold on. It has 43,000 miles of it on it, and about, I'm going to say 8,000 miles of that at least is going back and forth to Tennessee in the last like 2.5 years.
That's only 10 years. It's made 2 trips back and forth.
2 trips. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Well, Ron Ward just made a comment about.
No, I'm going to get to that. You shut up. It's my turn after I get to talk too. So you shut your mouth. Go ahead, Crosby. What do you think?
What do I think?
What's going to be the thing?
The one truck I think a lot of people have missed is like the 93 Ford body style.
Yeah, the square
I
one.
think there's a lot of those out there, including the Broncos, that a lot can be done with. And all of you know that I am dead set against frame swapping vehicles. It's way more work than it's worth. You're a lot better off just building a chassis or buying a done chassis.
A lot of times I agree with you.
My Volvo
Not always,
wagon.
but a lot of times.
Did I say I was done, Wickham?
Nah, shush. Just shush.
At what point were we talking about a bread box?
Shush. Let me.
Shush.
We were talking trucks,
Not
not toasters or mailboxes.
You've been shush. Now shush. My Volvo wagon is 107-inch wheelbase. The Ford Bronco, O.J. Simpson Ford Bronco, 107-inch wheelbase.
The 32 is 106-inch wheelbase. What's your freaking point?
Who wants a 32?
Wickham wants to trar the Volvo. That's his point.
He does. And I'm down with that. Whatever.
But yeah, I'm all about just doing something silly.
I just don't think the frame swap. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there. Yeah, Mike Cotton's got it right there. A 2-wheel drive Bronco.
Yes.
Laid out on its nuts.
Its nuts would be awesome. Yes.
I'll bring the Volvo. We'll find the Bronco body.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And I would piss everybody off and put LS in it.
Well, duh. Hello.
Yeah.
You know why? You know why I would put an LS in it? Because
they work.
But here's why I'm a dick for it. Because all the Ford guys are like, Chevrolet just stole the Cleveland head. That's what the LS is. It's just a Cleveland. Well, then I put a Cleveland in it, you bastard.
Yeah.
Shut your pie hole.
Chad, I would have one real question.
Yes.
How did you manage to separate a chromosome from your stack for that improv? How? I literally saw you turn into a full-blood
hold
Texan
on.
right there.
So now it's my turn. And Ron Ward is correct. Says, I'd be remiss if I didn't express my love for mini trucks. I think there should be a resurgence of mini trucks. There has been a resurgence of mini trucks the last few years, no doubt. Now,
Maggie Valley.
that has predominantly been with the already mini truck crowd. Okay. But I will say that when you have guys like
Yeah.
everybody here's mutual friend, Dave Chappelle, finishing up his hard body Nissan, which he just took for its first drive. Well, on video, he just took it for its first drive last week. It's been a month or two. But anyway, that thing is rad. It's got a traditional body drop. It is laid on its balls like God intended. And it is so cool because, other than a couple of little things, the body is stock, quote unquote. And that thing just looks like $1,000,000. And I love it. And he has a big channel, and he is going to inspire some kids to cut stuff up and make mini trucks rad. And another one that is responsible for this, and I'm giving him credit, is Mike Cotton, because Cotton and Newbern, same deal, dude. Cotton is OG, and he knows it, and he has supported the mini truck movement, and there are a bunch of people that are, and I know that, like, Crosby's got a mini that he wants to build. I've got a mini that I want to build. Like, everybody's got a mini, and the old
McTaggart's
school.
going,
I know. The old school, at some point, McTaggart's going to have a Gen 3 Hemi swapped Dakota, and I'm going to have to remind him that it's a mini truck. It's going to be great. Anyway, the other one that is, like, getting people's attention, all right, is
Hold
this
on though.
huge
Owning one
movement.
doesn't constitute having one.
Do what?
Owning one doesn't constitute having one.
What do
Having
you
one
mean?
means that it runs and drives and
Oh, yeah. Oh, I agree. Absolutely. But like I was saying, though, the huge movement, though, that has been of where are the mini trucks of the past, like that big group on Facebook. I know, Wickman, you're in it. You see it every day.
yeah.
Like, dude, people are finding the old magazine trucks, and it's crazy. Some of them that are still in whoever's possession and have just been parked for 20 years. And then other ones where somebody has found them, like, I mean, just gone to shit, right? Like, parked under a carport somewhere in Mississippi or something dumb, but somebody sees it and goes, ooh, I recognize that, and they're trying to save it. So it's pretty cool.
There's one in Thibodaux, Louisiana that was a magazine feature vehicle, and sitting in the carport, people pass it daily and talk about it, and approach the owner and was like, nope, that's where it's going to sit and rot, kind of thing. So,
Who's got it?
what's that?
Who's
got it? Just some random
owner.
guy?
Yeah, the original owner.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It was a red Toyota with a scissor lift bed. It was done mini truck style, then it went to like lowrider style.
So Brett has a good question, and this is a good segue into what my next thing was going to be. Power plants. What's the trend going to be in 2025 for engines? In 2024, we saw continued success of the LS. We saw and I don't know if this is the right term, this may be an exaggeration, but a little bit of a resurgence for the Coyote and the mod motors. There's been it's gotten a little more popular again all of a sudden, which is mind-boggling to me, because I don't know why anybody would put an engine in that is wider than a tall deck big block Chevrolet and not just put a tall deck big block Chevrolet in. But that's just me, because I'm not a Ford guy. And I believe that a mod motor has more chains than brains. So why would you do that? But again, not my deal. So I know they can make big power. I know all those things. I'm not an idiot. I get it. I just don't happen to be that guy. The Gen 3 Hemi has been very popular. And I would say has grown in popularity the last couple of years. But in 2024, there was more and more movement to the Chevrolet or GM LT engine, doing more with the DI motor, although a lot of guys are using the DI motor short block and putting an LS head on it instead, or at least converting it from DI to port injection because it's better for, power, unless you're Jefferson Bryant, and you'll argue with me to no end on that subject. But he's not here. What else? What I think one of them that's interesting is people have been talking Toyota V8 more than I've heard people talk about any Toyota thing in a very long time in the last several months. What do you guys think?
I don't think the support's there for them.
No, I agree.
As far as the product.
The support's there, but you are paying for it because it's more of an overseas deal. But that being said, the One UZ has always had a really decent support system if you're willing to front for the money. And it's not a bad engine. I mean, if nothing else, it's an anvil, and I'll take reliability over potency any day of the week in most cases.
Well, and if you look at that thing and it's reliable and it makes decent power stock, it put boost on anything, it's going to make more power. So the reality is that if you're talking about less than 1,000 horsepower, if you put a standalone ECU on it and stuff a bunch of air in it, it's going to make power,
The thing I see right now, and I'm really going off the deep end, but let me, I think we're reliving 1974 right now. We're diving in because publicly the Hemi is theoretically on its deathbed. Yes, the Durango's still going, but just by the skin of its teeth. Otherwise, the factory's gone to the inline six, and that's about the same shit show Chrysler was in 75. And the other two are legacy motors that have been around for years at this point. What I see as a trend is going to be just whatever makes power. It's not going to matter at this point what it is. It's will it.
Right.
That's more of the thing there. My curiosity is how long the holdovers of legacy blocks, like Ron's putting here, the small block Chevy, the Vortex Chevy, the LA and Magnum Chryslers, the Windsor Ford, how long do they stay on? Because you can build them and you can make power and you can have fun, but they're not going to make the power of modern engines is going to do without major surgery and money.
Right.
He's dead on his point, though. You don't need 1,000 horsepower for something you're going to knock around and have fun with.
Oh no, I agree. But
Ford Maverick is more than enough to light your fire.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Let's say let's use that Maverick as the example, right? And I get what Ron's saying, and I'm not discounting it, okay? But it depends. So let's use the Maverick as the example. If that thing came with a 6-cylinder, okay, and you've bought this thing as a roller, or it still has the 6-cylinder in it, whatever. The cost of doing a V8 swap on that car is going to be it is going to be similar whether you put an LS under the hood or a small block Ford with a carburetor and a distributor, or a small block Chevy with a carburetor and a distributor. And the reason I say that is I'm assuming this is if you are buying a running engine, and we'll just assume junkyard engine, and you're doing a cam swap on it, and then you have to buy an ignition system and you have to buy a carburetor and an intake manifold.
At that point, what you're looking at it as pick one or the other. I just see you have choice. And
I agree. I agree you have choices, but I'm saying that those choices are all similar in price. Because people always want to go, an LS swap is expensive, and they can be, right? An LS swap is expensive if you are swapping a car that already has some other engine in it, like a small block Chevrolet that already has performance parts, right? If you're taking a 69 Chevy pickup and putting an LS in it where a 350 already exists with headers and an aftermarket intake and a carburetor and an MSD distributor and all those things, it would definitely be cheaper to build a stroker small block and utilize all those other parts you already have. However, if it is stone stock and it just has cast manifolds on it and an iron intake and a quadrajet and all those things still, then doing an LS swap is not that different, if at all, because you're going to have to buy headers anyway if you're doing a traditional small block. So buying headers for the LS is no different. And now with all the cheap Chinese stuff, although it's all going to go up because Trump's going to pass, tariffs supposedly, but still, right? It's okay. The big deal is that, like you said, there are tons of options. Everybody seems to get into this. In our world today, everybody is one thing or another. I am not that guy. I am a fan of horsepower. NA, power adder, multiple power adders. I like all of the things. Okay. I think there are a lot of great engines. I don't happen to be a fan of Mod Motors and Coyotes, but they're impressive. They're just not what I'm going to do. Right. There are a lot of great engines out there. Like Cotton said, you're talking about all the little engines as well. Right. There are plenty of great engines out there. Ecotech's K series. I mean, even B series Hondas and all those, they're awesome, right? They're cool little motors, right? And they can go in all kinds of fun stuff. Like, I'm not going to lie. There's a part of me that's thought about putting a B16 in my Mitsubishi Mighty Max, with a T55 speed behind it, because that's a swap that's not hard to do.
But that's the thing. We've been so drunk on power for the last 30 years. I mean, look at other engines. Yeah, the Ecotechs, doesn't matter, like, what you get in a Cobalt SS. Either one of those engines, turbo or blower, were good. The L67 V6, ancient V6, put on an Eaton blower, you're almost to 300 horsepower, dead nut stock in Grandma's Buick. We've been so lucky with power for the last 30 years. It's simply a matter of, what do you want to build? I would do an L67 and a Disco Nova and be content. Then again, I do a 383 stroker. I do an LS.
What about the LS 6-cylinder and LT 6-cylinder? What is it? It's a LV31 and a LV what?
What, the LV3? Is that?
Yeah, LV3 and whatever. I don't know. Jeff, if you're still watching, tell me what the things are. He's in love with them. They are the 6-cylinder. So like a 4.3 liter V6 that came in a, late model Chevy van or any of those is not a 4.3 V6 like the Vortec that had, was a small block Chevrolet with 2 cylinders missing. It's a LS or an LT with 2 cylinders missing. And they make really good power. And now BTR and some other places are actually making parts
for it. LV1, the LV3. I know which.
There you go. LV1
one of
and
my
LV3.
last things I did at Holly, they had a development 78 Pontiac that they had stuck an LV3 and a 6-speed into. And I'm trying to think how much trouble I get in talking about this. Effectively, the car was not done. It was an engineering development mule when I drove it.
Right.
There were still bugs to be worked out, and I don't think they pursued it in the end.
Right, and they make 300 horsepower or something like that, or 275 stock or something. I mean, it's real power. Like, it's a good engine.
Real power. I drove the car, and with a 3,000 RPM cap, that car was a very potent daily driver, and it had torque up until it forced me off the throttle.
Right.
If they had figured out everything and that had a full RPM range, that would have been amazing. I'd also like the V6 that was in the ATS and the last gen Camaro. That's a potent little mill.
Oh yeah,
I actually prefer it to the V8 cars.
Yeah.
The one thing most people are lacking, though, when it comes to this stuff, it's not money or the ambition or what they want to do. It's the talent or the ability to find talent to do it for them.
That is true.
Why you gotta call me out like that?
I wasn't calling you out. I was talking about Wickham.
Wow. Okay, Ron Ward is right. The 4200 GM Straight 6 is an amazing engine. Like, those things make stupid power with boost and everything else, like ridiculous. And yes, parts are relatively cheap for them and all those things. They're just hard to find. I shouldn't say that. I mean, they're not impossible to find, but they certainly are not as plentiful as LS's. And the other thing that's wrong with them is that they're tall. So some vehicles have a hard time because of the height of those things. So
I was gonna say I've only seen them in truck applications, and I know Fuel Injection Sucks on YouTube did one in a checker.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah,
Like,
I love
that's
them.
the kind of
I've been a
height you
fan
need.
of them for years. I mean, literally 20 years. But, Brian Self Lump, uh, he builds them and does a bunch of, or used to. I don't know if he's still doing them, but for NHRA Competition Eliminator, um, he built a bunch of them for roadsters and dragsters and stuff. They just hauled ass with a giant turbo on them and stuff. They're badass. So,
But then you get
thing
no
you
up,
never
question.
hear about it, anybody doing is Volvo swapping a C10. Why don't you get on that, Wogan?
Yeah, yeah.
before we had that rock thrown, I was about to say, any engine can be done. It's just a matter of creativity. Because who is it? John Huber, I think, if I'm right. I know Huber for sure. Ford
Yep. It is
2.3.
John. Yes.
So the little four banger and a Fox body Mustang can dance nicely.
Oh yeah, that's a 2.3 liter based engine. The quickest and fastest that car ever went, I believe, was with a 2.8 liter combo, factory block, aftermarket head. Obviously stroker crank and bigger bore and all those things. And I believe the last iteration of that car, which is still together today, is I believe it was a 91 millimeter turbo on that thing. And it was, or it has been in the high sevens. I mean, that's on a 28 1050 with the front end in the air for 300 feet. That car is badass. I've raced with John for years. His late father, John Huber Sr., was epic. Papa John, as everybody called him. He and my dad were the same age, and are close. And John, Junior and I are almost exactly the same age. So when we were on all those early drag weeks, like his dad and my dad were like universal dads to us. So they'd yell at either one of us, and we just were like, okay, yeah. I mean, it didn't matter. Like John's dad would yell at me, and I'd be like, yes, sir, Papa John, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to be bad. I'm like, shit.
Wasn't the Mustang race recently?
My dad, but he's shorter. Like, what the hell? It was awesome.
What's that, Wegman?
Wasn't his Mustang raced either 23 or 24 at an event?
Oh, probably. Yeah, he's still racing. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know if he ran like a drag and drive type event or was street car.
I don't know if he's done any drag and drive stuff recently. Not that I'm aware of, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I haven't stayed in touch with him real well, so I don't know. But it's a badass car. His uncle bought it brand new. It was his first car. He got it. It was stone stock. It came from the factory as a 2.3 liter turbo car. It is not an SVO because it was the year before they started calling them SVOs.
No, it's older than that. His is like the original. It's like Haley's car. It's the original.
Yeah, his is a 4i.
4i, yeah, exactly.
4i. His is like 79, 82.
Yeah, but they called them an SVO the next year or the year after. It wasn't the SVO with the covered things and all the flares and all that, but it was still an SVO Mustang. It just didn't have all the decor items on it at that point.
That was the GT Turbo, but we're going to get into semantics, and we already go off on a tangent.
Yeah,
SVO is the
was brand new, bought by his uncle, seen the window sticker, the whole deal. Like So, and those cars were not fast. I mean, they made like I don't know what they made. Factory like 150 horsepower or something, but but it's badass. And inline engines are notoriously smooth, and that thing just worked like a champ. So way cool car. And the Hubers were awesome. Like Papa John built his own torque converters. They ran C4s in those things with all kinds of trick guts in them. And again, on a 28 1050 tire. And that thing with the super loose converter and all that stuff still went down the road and got like 28 miles to the gallon or some stupid shit on all the Dragon drives. Was hilarious. Everybody else is like, wait, what?
Yeah, because the 4-cylinder weighs as much as my right foot.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah.
Well, you were making comments about a Maverick earlier. Remember the Spectra Maverick?
I do. I bought that
No.
car. I bought that car. I put the cam in it. I did all the things for the 6-cylinder, the original 6-cylinder in it. It was the very last car to blow up at Palmdale, LACR, LA County Raceway, with me
There's
behind the
something you
wheel.
want on your resume.
Oh, I
I'm the
do.
last
I do.
person to
You
grease
should have seen
thing
this thing
out.
leave. You should have seen this thing leave. Left front wheel in the air, left like a goddamn pro stocker. It was badass. With me burying my thumb on the button. We had a
Can't understand why it
175
blew up.
shot.
No, not
Yeah,
at
we had a
all.
175 shot going through that thing. It made 81 horsepower at the tires on the Mustang died before the 175 shot.
You had
We
175
sprayed
going
that
in and
thing
faithful going
for 4
outside.
days straight and never heard it at all. And literally the last run, air fuels were mint. Everything was perfect. The cast pistons just couldn't take the cylinder pressure anymore. It was awesome. Not a drop of oil on the racetrack. Not a drop. It was great. So yeah, Bernie was jumping up and down. He was so giddy, it was hilarious. That was awesome. I love it. Ron Ward is asking, I thought the later incarnations of Huber's Mustang used a heavily modified AOD. I believe that you are correct on that. Yes. The Maverick was cool. The Maverick did get a 2JZ later. That's what Crosby is alluding to. I did not do that. I would have, but I didn't. The 2JZ that it got was actually supposed to go in a car that McTaggart, if he liked old Mopars, would lose his mind over. But he likes newer Mopars than this, so it's okay. But I had a 68 Dart that we had built, fully set up as a leaf spring radial car, caged, beautiful car, B5 blue. It was wonderful. Loved this thing, was getting it ready to go on drag week with it and all this stuff. And yeah, Sean Calloway in the house going, the Dart, baby. The Dart was really nice. Had the best of the best parts in it, and we were putting a 2JZ in it with a 91 millimeter turbo that, with Scott Clark tuning it, would have made 13 to 1400 easily. And everybody was, going to lose their damn minds over that one. But we were doing 2JZ with a turbo 400 and a gear vendor's overdrive. That was the plan with that thing. And yeah, it wasn't my first choice. Wouldn't have been like, let's put a 2J in it, but it was what would have got people talking and everything. And that was the whole point of the project. But it did not come to fruition, unfortunately. But that car was amazing.
I wonder whatever happened to that 510.
Dude, the 510 was great also. We had so many cool cars at Spectre, let me tell you.
Anyway,
the plan for the 510 was we were buying a 350Z. Okay. We were buying a brand new, well, not brand new, but a wrecked 350Z. And we were going to put everything 350Z in it, and leave it as stock looking as we possibly could with all the 350Z shit under it and in it. So the interior, we were going to, the dash in those things is huge in the 350Z, so we weren't going to use the dash, but everything else, seats, door panel, we were going to try and make it feel like it was supposed to be that way. Me and Sean were really stoked about that one too, actually. The 510 was one that Sean and I were both pretty excited about. And that thing would have been fast. If I remember right, the 350Z made 275 horsepower or something, which in a 510 is legit, way legit. And the thing had a those came with a 6-speed in them and all that stuff. Yeah, like Sean says, it was such a solid plan. We had serious plans for all of these cars, and we built a lot of cars at Spectre. We did. It sounds like we didn't. These are just a couple that didn't end up getting done because we all left and the company got sold and a bunch of other things. But it's pretty cool. Yeah, Ron Ward saying 350Z stuff in a 510, shades of Project Binky. Sort of, if you are not familiar with Project Binky, you need to look it up. It is, in my opinion, it is the finest YouTube car build series ever.
Is that little
Period.
European escort thing?
It's no, it's a Mini Cooper, and an OG Mini,
Yeah.
with, as they call it in the UK, Celica parts under it, aka Celica, and it's all-wheel drive Celica stuff under it. The level of fabrication and everything that they did on this thing with all cardboard aided drafting is amazing. And the build of this car was, I mean, epic. I've been following this car for years and years and years. I mean, this is old OG, for sure. It is amazing. And you should check it out. If you don't learn something watching what these guys do, they do, like, they're hand fabbing a bunch of stuff, but other stuff, they're being smart and using parts you can buy, right? So they're like, oh, we're using the power window motors out of this whatever, UK car that's available everywhere, so that you can replace the parts with stuff that costs $20 instead of 200. You know what I mean? And it's really cool. It's really, really cool. So yeah, go check out Project Binky. It's awesome. Okay. All right, we're at just over an hour, so we're going to start wrapping this thing up. A couple announcements. We are going to, a little bit later in the year, we're going to be doing some upgrades here on the website on BANGshift, so pay attention for that. If anybody thinks that having an app available for being able to look at content, and if that would make things easier than just going to the website on your phone, let me know what your thoughts are on that, because I've had some people bring it up to me. Apparel is the big deal. So PowerShift apparel, BANGshift apparel, Triple B apparel, etc., all going to be available very soon. We are going to kick that off with a pre-order sale. So here in the next couple of weeks, we're going to put out some announcements. So on the next show, we'll be able to show you guys what the apparel is. You guys will be able to pre-order that. And we'll do pre-orders for probably 2 weeks. And then I'll start fulfilling all those orders. So there's going to be hats, hoodies, and t-shirts all available. So if you are interested in PowerShift, Shift Happens, BANGshift, etc. apparel, you will be able to order that, like I said, here in the next few weeks. So I'll keep you guys up to date on that one as we get.
It only costs us on the show double, right?
Correct.
Right.
Actually, I'm going to give you a little bit of a discount, so it's going to be 175% instead of 200. So it's fine. Yeah.
That's damn nice of you.
Pay for shipping, like a flat fee though. It's only $100. It's fine.
No. If you want me to come down there and help you with that earlier thing we were talking about, you better bring me a hoodie and a couple of t-shirts. All I'm saying. If you show up without in your hand, I'm turning around and going home.
I'll come work for free if you just bring me some apparel. That's what I heard. I don't know.
No, that is not what I said. How does holding your hands over your headphones help?
I know. I was just waiting to see if anybody got that. That's great. Wickman was looking at me like...
Weirdly, I was ignoring it because that was just going to happen anyways. We all knew it.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, he's already lost chromosomes once this episode.
Right. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about for this episode is where do you want to go this year? Where do you want to be in 2025? Like, what race or car show or whatever do you want to go to this year? And it doesn't have to be something new. It could be an event you already go to, whatever. Crosby, you started off.
I'm still working on one lap.
Excellent. That is, dude, yes, I really want, have they announced the dates yet?
May. I don't know the dates offhand, but it's early May, I believe. Early to mid-May, I think. I could be wrong. Don't quote me.
Yeah, because last time when we were checking, I didn't. Oh, here it is. It is. It starts May.
I don't know if it's a reality
6th.
for this year, but
May 3rd to May 9th. I don't know either, but yes. Yeah, May 3rd through the 10th is what it is. Okay.
Yeah, the 32 sitting here staring at me asked me, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, I know. I really want to do it. Okay. We'll talk about that some more. All right. So, and anything else that you want to go to?
I don't know. Like I talked about. I'm kind of changing my priorities up this year. I'm going to get away from building complete cars and going back to fab work and building headers, exhaust, and plumbing.
Yep.
Just to have stuff come in, go out the door. And I sent you the picture of those headers I built for Devious, so I'm going to build those for him.
Yep.
And
That's
helping
awesome.
him out with some projects too.
And Cotton brings up a good point, and this is exactly where I'm at right now. Cotton said, dude, I don't care on whatever event. I just want to hang with my friends. So pick one and I'll be there. It's funny you say that. I literally have been thinking about this the last few days. And honestly, it's sort of because of conversations with all three of these idiots. But I want to pick an event or several events this year and just go, okay, I'm getting an Airbnb and there's enough beds for 6 people and enough floor for 60 more. So everybody come on, let's go. Everybody throw $50 my way or buy the beer and we're in, and let's
What
go
could
hang out. Let's
possibly
go to
go
Mackey
wrong?
Valley. Let's go to wherever. Like, I want to go do those events like that, for sure. Like, no doubt.
I agree. I could be down for that.
Yep. Haley, I'll get to that in a second, actually. Wickman, where do you want to go?
I know in May, there's a 1-day all GM truck event that is going to be happening in Moab, Utah.
Yes.
I've already got
That'd
a
be
number
cool.
of people lined up. We are going to roll out of Denver. Probably.
Yeah, because that's not a horrible drive for you guys, right?
5 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
See,
that's
that's
not
no
bad.
big deal.
I've got a bunch of guys already that have already committed. We're going to probably roll out early Friday morning, get over there Friday, probably make a stop in whatever one of the ski towns is a long way on 70.
You're a chicken.
I'm with Cotton. I'm with Cotton.
You're a chicken, you bastard.
Then be there for Saturday for the show. And the last thing I saw earlier today, there are a number of big name vendors that have already committed to this event. So this could turn into something pretty big. So I'm really interested in it. I'll have my OBS going to it. And then
what type of event is it?
All GM truck. So basically, it's if you've got a GM truck, just show up, kind of thing.
All car show, or is
there
car show driving?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's also going to be a cruise along with it somewhere, one of the parks going through the mountains or the.
Yeah, that's what I heard about.
Because when you say Moab, you know what most people think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It would be cool to see a whole bunch of GM trucks on the rocks. That would be a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it would, but Moab's beautiful. It's a cool area. That ought to be a fun show for sure.
And I've also talked to some other guys that their trucks aren't ready, but one of them has a beautiful 67 Chevelle and the other one's got a 95, 96 Impala SS. And they're like, we're going. It's like, We don't care. It's like we'll just go and do the cruise and check out the show. So
I mean, that's a gorgeous drive, regardless.
yeah. So that's why I said we'd along I-70. I'm gonna stop at one of the ski towns for lunch and or a pit stop, then cruise in the rest of the way and be there Friday afternoon and Friday night and Saturday, then cruise back Sunday. So
yeah. McTaggart, what about you?
Well, the main thing is the same thing Cotton put up. I have a bunch of friends. I want to go hang out. I want to do shit. That being said, I also want my redemption from this year because after Power Tour, all my momentum just ceased.
Right.
So I'm still trying to figure out my calendar for Hemmings and the events I'm going to there. I'm hoping to do more events and different events. Like McCacken was a good start. That's something I hadn't done yet. That was a cool deal.
If you're not familiar with the term McCacken, too, that's Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals, and it
December.
Traditionally is an event that has had the image of being New Balance, white New Balances, jean shorts, and and old Corvette guy garb, but that really is not what the show is. And it's definitely not just Corvettes. There's a ton of other stuff there, and the quality of cars at that event is
unreal.
Has been off the hook for years and years and years and years and years. I feel like it's getting a new bunch of attention that's well deserved. You guys had a great time, I know.
Oh, it was a blast. You can go on the Hemmings Instagram or YouTube or whatever, and there's videos. I poked around some of the stranger ones, like they had an 81 Yanko Camaro there, which was, my knowledge, the last actual Yanko Camaro. If there's a different one, I don't know. They had one of the two 1985 Plymouth Cudas there, which I never thought I'd see that car in person ever. Ryan Brewitt, the guy who does the auto archaeologist, he's the one who puts together the barn find section. We're talking Hemi cars, we're talking tri-power Pontiacs, we're talking old drag cars that nobody's seen for 40, 50 years.
And I would say, too, that it's not just barn finds, as in drag them out. It's survivors as well that are, it's just rad. Super,
and it's
super
not
rad.
just the typicals that you'll see there. One of the best cars I saw this year was an early 60s Studebaker Wagonaire, which is the one that has the roof that slides into itself.
Yeah.
That had the R2 supercharged 289 and a 4-speed in it. Which all
was
those things
Paxton
offered,
supercharged,
usually not the same damn car.
Cubic inch. Yeah, it's cool.
But that's
awesome.
It's those things. There's a lot of things I want to go do, but the main thing for me is I want a car that is not my daily driver to take me there so I can go enjoy it. That's why I enjoyed the first 2 stops of Power Tour, and why I was so pissed off the rest of the tour was because that was supposed to be it. So that's the focus for at least the beginning of the year until the weather starts warming up, is double down and get something built.
Yeah, but stories, the good stories are when shit goes south, and those are the ones you remember later on. So
you haven't been around me when shit goes south. Things go flying, and I turn into the Incredible Bulk or Hulk or whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah, because I'm just calm and even keel and pleasant when I'm upset about things. Kiss my ass.
You and me have both seen each other through the computer. Me and Crosby have never met in person. For anybody watching this, this is the only way I know this man. I don't think we've ever actually met.
True. I forgot about that.
So I see Crosby. He's got the Southern California cool attitude going, where everything's fine, everything's all right, everything's calm and copacetic. And
Chad's seen me kick shit across the shop and yell and cuss at people.
Somebody across the shop.
Well, I was leaving that part out, but
and Chad's seen me where it's like he's threatening to go give him something to drink.
I'm fat, but I move fast.
You just make yourself sound like a fucking marmot.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's when Crosby throws something, is when I text him.
Right. So, okay, so here's the deal.
Which deal?
I love this.
Here's the deal. Okay, hold on.
Wait, hold on. No, because this is too funny. So Scott says Crosby is so chill. John says, yeah, no such thing as no worries SoCal attitude. Yes, that's true. We just pretend real well. Okay, so Haley brought up a thing and said we just want a BANGshift event, and so we're going to end the show with this. There are a bunch of new announcements that'll be coming over the coming months. Some things maybe sooner than that, but I am making every effort to make an announcement on one or more BANGshift events this year, and. In addition to that, there's also going to be another acquisition of another website or two to join the BANGshift family, which is going to be pretty exciting. So I'm stoked about that. There's a bunch of things in the works, and I wish I could give you a timeline on some of the stuff, but it's fluid and it's just going to be what it is. But know that I am working very hard to try and get our own event or events in 2025. So Drag and Drive events is what we're aiming at first, but there's some other cool stuff that I'm working on as well, that are things I've wanted to do for years and years and just haven't been able to do so. But now I can. So we're working on that. And if we have the right support, and the right relationships with the right racetracks and what have you, then I think we can do this. And so we're looking forward to it. So just hang tight. We got you. We're going to make some announcements on that. And part of that's going to depend on how many t-shirts you guys buy and all that stuff too. And I may have to mark up Crosby's 275% now. I don't know.
Damn, it's all coming down to me.
Yeah.
He knows
you're gonna be waiting a long time.
All right, boys. Well, I think that this has been a fun way to start off our year. Let's see how right we are as we go. Also, I am working on the invite list for guests for the show. So as a reminder, if you have guests that you think should be on the show, or if you want to be a guest, email me, chat@bangshift.com, and we'll see if we can make some of these things happen. But I have a list of people that we have been putting together for the last couple of months, and we're going to get some folks on. I know that McTaggart has some people that he'd like to see on the show, some other YouTubers that we know well and everything, which would be fun. Definitely want to get Dave Chappelle back on the show. Easy for me to say. Get Cotton's for sure getting on the show. I talked to Cotton at PRI and he said, dude, I can't do the show. And I said, why? And he says, because I ain't got no internet.
What?
He said,
what section of Missouri does he live in again?
Apparently the part with no internet. He said,
go to the Mickey D's. They got it.
Literally, he said that if he did like the Zoom calls or whatever for the TV thing, he would have to turn his camera off and just have his video on, because his internet, literally, he was like the stuttery, thing the whole time. So I said, get yourself a Starlink so we can get you on the show. So Cotton is in. I know Newbern will be in. I'm actually gonna talk to Finnegan as well and see if he'll be on the show. Maybe Freiberger. There's a bunch of people, engine builders and car builders. Aaron, who from Garage Fab, he's a D50 guy. Remember we talked to him last year. He's awesome. I just talked to Aaron actually a couple days ago. Told him we'd like to have him back on the show. He was all over it. Pardon me?
The artist Brian. I can't think of his last name at the moment.
Oh, yes.
He needs to make a return.
Absolutely, 100%. So I'm working on the list, and I want to start doing it and get the calendar set with these people. So if you have anybody that you think we should have on, and that goes for all of you guys too, the three of you, start making a list, and let's make it happen. I figure if we can get into February And in February, start up with our new guests. At least one show a month, having a guest on would be awesome. So I definitely think it would be fun. And really appreciate all the support. All of you guys have been really great. And it's been fun to do the show, but we're committed to doing this thing. It's going to always be Wednesday nights. We are attempting to do 2 a month. If we starting it off the remainder of the year, we're going to try and do the
Our
first.
last show was only 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
It was only 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
The problem is when I have to fly on a Wednesday. That's what screws up the pooch. But that's not nearly as often as when I have to fly on a Thursday, which is why we're doing Wednesdays now. Because Wednesday
Insert
is
excuse here.
Huh?
Insert excuse here.
Yeah,
You'll
dude.
insert an
Hey,
excuse.
you know how much I fly. It sucks. But it is what it is.
I figured you'd be a lot skinnier since you fly so much.
Dude, these arms, man, I gotta fuel them. It's, I'd look like the what's the bird on the Rescuers, the original Rescuers that nobody remembers except me and Crosby and Wickman.
I'm old enough to remember the Rescuers, you think?
You
He was
mean
over
the,
there looking like
the
a Canada
stork
goose
or whatever it was?
No, he wasn't a short. What was he? What was the bird on the Rescuers? Damn it.
Oh, it was no, it was
Not a dodo bird.
not a crow. It was
or the goose.
Stork.
No,
no
an
Or Bill the
albatross.
goose.
It was an albatross
albatross.
named Wilbur. Wilbur
I remember Evinrude better.
The
The mosquito.
Yeah, I do remember that. But the Randy says seagull. No, the albatross. The albatross, remember, is the one that it's like, oh, I can't take off. I can't take off. I can't take off. Yeah. So this is going to be real ugly, and the landings aren't pretty either. But in the air, it's great. It's fine. Whatever. It's all good.
Majestic is fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wish it was little bumblebee.
All right.
Yeah, this
Ladies
is
and gentlemen, again, thank you so much. Barnalicious, Sean, Liggett, Ron, everybody, Haley, all of you guys that tuned in tonight. Thank you so much. Brett, you had great questions and comments. I appreciate it. Randy Young said he's going to Funny Car Chaos in Dallas in April, which is good too. And Wickman is tormenting Cat.
Some states that's considered abuse.
I know, exactly. Thank you
Just
so
him
much.
owning
Everybody.
that cat is abuse.
I know. Yeah, exactly. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. We will see you next time on PowerShift. Later.